So we have our profit and loss. I do have the treasury report commentary. Sometimes people like to follow along with what I read off. It's kind of just like my little running dialogue. But sewer fees billed this month were $26,000, a little over. And our water fees, we billed at $27,500. In total, our income is $53,500 for the month. To date, we have billed for $178,500 on the sewer side, and we've billed for with the SRF fees, we've billed for $181,000 to date. So we still have a couple of certification fees rolling in, which we'll see next month on our profit and loss. But for this last reporting month of June, our total income for the month is $53,518. Any questions on the income side? Okay, we'll head on down to all of our expenses here. For sewer maintenance, we have $21,731. That is made up of $12,800 of that was replacing the pump and the wiring at the Navy base at some of their septic tanks. Bob, was that one or was that two tanks?
It was one tank, two pumps.
Okay. And then we had residential pumping, 1,590. We pumped on 4th Street, on Cottonwood Street, and on North Main. We had repairs and maintenance of 3,300, and that was on Cottonwood Court. During their pumping, they noticed that there was some significant problems going on there. So they resealed the inlet and the outlet side because things were not flowing correctly. There also was a belly in the line and a crushed pipe. So all that was replaced. It cost us about $3,300. Then getting the Land Up app site up and running to date so far is $7,863. And then just miscellaneous parts and supplies on the sewer side at $435. In total, you'll notice that the sewer total of $26,000 is a little different than what this report is. When I was doing the commentary, there was a magnet that Bob had purchased, and he had it on his income. It was double input on the sewer maintenance side. Yeah, so that's 600 and either 74 or 47, but that would be the difference that we're seeing here.
Now on that Cottonwood Court, that's a new installation now. Is any of that the responsibility of the contractor that put it in?
Ted, that's not a new installation. That's one of the original older installations. It's not the new home. It's the one just south of that. And in that particular case, whenever it went in many years ago before I was here, I don't know if it was not inspected, but they didn't seal the inlet and the outlet. Therefore, the effluent drained out the material around it and caused the lines to sink and have a belly and one to get crushed because they've been doing that for years. So that's not new construction.
So yeah, that's kind of repairing some old stuff that we had going on, which is kind of why, Logan and I are dealing with a customer who had, and they're trying to sell right now. And they were like, oh, we have a tank in. And we were like, excuse me, what? And so we're requiring that they have to take all the cover off of it because they already backfilled over it, and they're not exactly happy with us. But it's reasons like that we didn't inspect it. So we have that customer pulling the cover off of their tank so that we can inspect it to hopefully avoid this.
And Jesse, let them know that wasn't the customer's fault. I think the new customer was a previous builder that did that unknown to them. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but we'll have to uncover it and inspect it, but it's to avoid situations like this. So, any questions on the sewer expense side? All right. So, going down, we have our water. water maintenance at 21,731. I'm gonna have to look at my calculations. Anyway, sewer repairs and maintenance. Our reservoir overflowed. We had to get a fuse replaced there, 375. We had some meter stock supplies at 1,165. Our meter repairs, which we did budget for, we knew we had coming. We had some relocating of meters that we had to do so that they didn't become a liability to the district. One of those we've been discussing up on Cape Horn here, that the customers are not so happy, but we've been waiting for La Riviere to remobilize. So hopefully that'll get fixed soon. But part of those costs is those 2 meters being relocated, Murray and Costello. We also replaced a meter at JD's. We are looking at pulling that meter from the middle of their parking lot over to the side because it's causing significant problems and flooding in the meter. And so we're looking closely at the budget to see if we can actually fit that in this year, but we might see that a little bit later. There was some electrical repairs at the Navy base, and then a big project you might have all noticed right before Baby Days at the Mercantile, replacing their meter and getting all that done. So a total of 19,635.
And what was big about that project?
We had to remove all the asphalt and the sidewalk. Yeah.
Just to do a meter?
Yeah. Bob, do you want to elaborate on that one?
Yeah, besides just the meter, we found on the down leg of the old meter that was in there an old PRV valve that no longer worked. And these days you can't just stick it in there like that. So we actually had a separate, almost like meter vault for a new PRV valve that we can actually work on and maintain. So there was the coil pit meter setter that went in, and also another right next to it, what looks like a water meter box, but actually has a PRV in it. It would be kind of a blueprint for what we would do if we were doing individual ones up for the up on the Cape Horn Road project for anything we'd be doing there. And then, of course, they had the concrete to get it all done in time for Bayview Days, which they did.
And they were awesome. I was down there on Friday night when they were finishing up. And I said, God, you guys did a great job. You were so fast. They're like, it's our Friday night special.
Yeah.
Then we had some routine testing every month, miscellaneous parts and supplies at 979, and a delinquent turnoff this last month of 50. So that was it for our water maintenance. We are kind of close to budget on our water maintenance, so we're looking at that one pretty closely. And then on our sewer side, we'll definitely be having more funds coming in as we get the land app site closer to its operating performance that we're hoping for.
More funds coming in, more bills.
More bills coming in, sorry. And then dues and subscriptions, our monthly Zoom, Log Me In, which is the ability to log into the computer remotely. That's an annual $350, and then Idaho Rural Water at $475 annual. I believe all of our dues and subscriptions for the annual are finished for the year. They bill the first part of the year. Assessment fees at $470. DEQ quarterly, we pay them for the number of water connections that we have. And everything else on this list under the expenses is pretty routine. Contract director's fees, system operator, all those types of things. And then legal fees is strictly so far still the KG&T going on. At the last board meeting, we decided to get our engineers on it. So Bob and our engineers and myself have been coordinating getting that going, answering lots of questions and stuff for them to do an assessment. So that's still in the works. Any questions on the expense side? Our net income for the month was under 17,417. You look at that compared to other months, and we banked 20,000. So it's just the ebb and the flow, but we were right on target with.
Due to expense.
Yeah.
Summertime expenses.
Yep. So.
Anything else? Any questions? Move on to the operator's report. Bob or Bob?